you guys, welcome aboard Oriyo for this sailing boat tour. We are presenting to you today Oriyo's layouts from the bow to the stern on the deck. We recorded this episode from a marina and it has been really noisy, especially with the wind, which just kept blowing lately. Plus there's a lot of activity all around us and some are really loud, and it has been quite a challenge to shoot everything that we needed to make this episode, but I think that we managed to do something pretty great and we hope that you will be enjoying every minute of it. Lots of space, never use it for sure, so we had this friend, Benoit, who helped us find Oriyo.
It's with us because it's too big. There is no socks and this is a piaf. Piaf in French, this is a bird.
So now the boom is...
My sailing is in the place.
What? Oriyo, we had a really beautiful anchor. It was a stainless steel type CQR anchor. Well, she was pretty, but fortunately we never managed to grip the sands on the bottom of the sea with it. We tried for several weeks and it never works. We know it's a good one, it's supposed to be a good one, and probably it's better in other kind of ground than sand, but it never worked. So we had to change it. So we found this one. It's a used one, but in perfect condition. It is a 25 kilos FOB HP type. We know it's not very popular, but so far it went, well, it was perfect for Oriyo. Valéry used to, use it a lot for his work back in time, both with motor and sailing kind of boats, and he had more, I bet 50 knots of wind at the anchorage and never moved, never let him down. So we went with this one, and yeah, so far it's perfect. We are now into our chain locker, where stands our two anchorage lines. We have the main one, which is tied up to, the main 25 kilos FOB kind anchor, with 60 meters of chain and 30 meters of rope, which is quite long and perfect for Oriyo. And then we have another, it's kind of a safety one in case we have an issue with the main anchorage line. It comes with a kind of smaller anchor, but it's the same kind as this one. It's only 20 kilos with 30 meters, I think, 30 meters chain long plus some rope. And we keep both of them here. We also have the windlass. It's an electrical windlass, so back in Port Saint-Louis we had to change the wires to get the electrical power. Well, we had a good check as it came with Oriyo. We had some issue with the small motor, electrical motor inside, so we had to change it and give a good check to all the system, and so far it works perfectly. Second part on the bow of Oriyo, it is the furler. Well, it is now a brand new one. It's a Selden brand and we are so happy to have it. We had to change it and we have a video that we made about the changing of the furler that we've done before leaving France, right here, and we will put the link on the description below, of course, of this episode where we changed the furler. The old one was, it didn't work. When we had Oriyo, we had her with several head sails. First of all, we had a huge spinnaker. It was, it's a 150 56 square meter, which is very large. Well, I think for Oriyo is good, but as we are just the two of us to sail with her, we don't want to be using it too much. We have no filler as it's a symmetrical spinnaker and no sock for it. So we don't want to damage it, and we just prefer to, well, leave it away. We also have another head sail for light wind, which is, well, it's more a racing sail. It is called, well, in France it is called a big boy, and it is usually hoisted to be in the opposite side of the spinnaker. So actually you put both of them to get a better balance of the boat downwind, avoiding it from rolling too much. About that sail, we know that we will never use it for sure. We have this friend, Benoit. Well, actually it is him that helped us got Oriyo. And he has this racing boat, which is perfect to get such a sail. So we just gave it to him as kind of a thank you. Another head sail that we have, it's this. Look as light it is. I can bring it up all by myself and moving it along the boat, which is quite nice. It is a Richer. It's another head sail for light wind. I think we can use it up to 12 knots apparent wind. It is a 70 square meter sail, and it is, well, it is nice because you can use it for both downwind and upwind. It's so light, as you can see. So not heavy to carry, not heavy to, well, not difficult to hoist and to use. When we discovered Oriyo in the first place, we didn't find any Genoa aboard. So as it's a major sail, we needed one for sure. So we start quickly to look for a new one. Unfortunately for Oriyo, it is a quite large head sail, so we couldn't afford a new one. But on the second-hand markets, we were lucky enough to find one after months of searching. It was sold to us by a guy who was a sailmaker, and he was so nice. We had the chance to discuss with it a lot about this sail. He made some adjustments for it to be perfect for Oriyo, and he made for us as well a UV protection strip in white, because it was the color that we wanted. So he was nice enough to make it for us, this one. He shipped it. Well, it just fit perfectly on Oriyo. And this Genoa is a 65 square meter, and for now it worked perfectly. The last head sail that we have, it's a 34 square meter Solent that we are using with this inner forestay. So we had to, well, to make it with Dyneema. We chose Dyneema first because it was easier to do, as we have done it by ourselves, and a bit cheaper. And we are thinking about using it, see if it's okay, and if we are satisfied with it, we just keep it that way. And if we are seeing that it's not straight enough, we might be changing it for a stainless steel one. But so far we have to sail a bit with this one before changing our minds about it. So this is the sailing, the using position of it, right after the main forestay. And when we are not sailing, we are putting it back to the foot of the mast. We have a total of 8 wind cones. These little guys are very effective. Actually, we thought that they save the interior of Oriyo. Their role is to bring fresh air from the exterior to the inside of the boats. And when we got Oriyo, and we find a lot of dust inside, so we know that they bring air but as well dust. It was really dirty, but after a big cleaning we noticed that the inside of the boat was absolutely in a perfect condition. So we can say that they preserved Oriyo from molds and they saved the inside of the boat. So they're really useful. Unfortunately, they take a lot of space up on the roof. So we are wondering what could we do to remove some of them and keep getting fresh air inside of the boat. So still it's a thought-in process. We don't know what we are going to do about those, and for now we're just using them. They are made in 3 parts. We have this stainless steel protection, especially for the sails, the halyards, or us, to not damage these as they are in plastics or might be broken. And then the wind cones by themselves, you can turn them depending on where the wind is coming from. This is great as well. And on the underneath we have this fiberglass box. This is kind of the core of the system, as inside there are like tubes, and if rainwater or seawater get inside of the cone, there will be leads toward these 2 holes at the back of this box and just flow down the deck. So the water won't pour in. And yeah, this is the system for these wind cones.
This is our stack bag. It is where we keep our mainsail when it is brought down to have it tidy and protected from UV exposition. Thanks to our friend Nicolas from Accastillage Diffusion in Port Saint-Louis, who helped us a lot find this one.
Here at the foot of the mast we have all of our ropes for the sails, especially all the halyards. We have one for the breacher, one for the genoa, one for the solent or jib, and one for the mainsail. We set up kind of a cursor system for our halyard for the genoa, because we noticed that when the genoa is hoisted up, there is a lot of extra length of line here down of the foot of the mast, and it's too much. So Valéry imagined this system where you have the halyard in 2 parts. The main part, that when the genoa is hoisted up, goes all the way through the mast, get out of the mast here, and we untie a second part of the halyard made in Dyneema that we just keep on the side. When we will need to put back the genoa, we'll just attach the 2 of them all together and then be able to get back our sail. The part of the halyard for the genoa that stays here in place is secured by a klitsch plus a klitz, so we are sure that it doesn't move. And when the genoa is completely set up, all the length that remains here of the halyards is this. So it's a complete effective system. So this is our dinghy, and we keep it here when we are not using it. When we are at the anchorage and we need it, we put it at the stern of Oriyo, and for night time we bring it next to the boat and hoist it up with a halyard.
We have had quite an adventure with our dinghies. The first we had with Oriyo looked brand new, but unfortunately she was old. And especially the glue that was holding the bottom part cracked, and we have never been able to glue it back together. After many efforts, we had to leave her behind. We then spent the summer with several dinghies lent by friends of ours. At one time, we had not less than 3 dinghies tied up to Oriyo. In the end, we bought one of them, and she became Mosquito. She is a bit short with her 2.5 meter long, but for now and for the 2 of us, it is fine.
One of the things that we love the most on Oriyo is this Dodger. We were so lucky and so happy when we found the boat to find this. It was in a cockpit locker and it was brand new. Actually, I think it might have been put on just a couple of times before the boat has been abandoned, sadly. With our old boat, Canquin, we didn't get such a great dodger. We didn't have any actually, and when we were sailing we had nothing to protect us from the wind or from the heat, and when we were at the anchorage, same thing, so it was less comfortable. Here we are very lucky to have this one. Plus it is even more than just something nice when you are sailing or when you are at the anchorage. It is as well a real living space. It's an area where we spend a lot of time at the marina or at the anchorage, but as well during sailings, as we can keep, well, we have 2 bags like this and we can keep all kind of stuff on them, such like snorkeling gears or books or water or snacks or I don't know, a lot of things, even some safety gears for the sailings, and we can even watch a movie from the cockpits thanks to this nice little gear. Plus, as we have a cell phone here, it's nice to get some sailing information as well. On Oriyo, the companionway has a very particular shape. It is very high and very long. So to come from the cockpit to the interior and out again, it's a little bit tricky. The reason why it is this high, it's because, as we explained in the interior boat tour, you can reach the episode, we'll put the link under the description below. It's because we have a back cabin which is an in-suit cabin, so you can pass from the cabin to the back heads going underneath the companionway. So that's why this is high, and this particular shape is, well, great from the inside, but to be able to go back and forth, the last owner probably thought a lot about that, and he managed to build a dodger a little bit higher. In order to make such a high dodger, the last owner had to change the position of the boom against the mast. So that's why the boom is a little bit higher, so the dodger can be a little bit higher too. And he probably had to reshape the mainsail a little bit smaller. And we suppose that he did that very, very few times before having to sadly abandon the boat, because when we found Oriyo in the first place, the mainsail and the dodger was brand new. I think they never sailed beforehand. Not only the previous owner have made these absolutely awesome modifications on Oriyo, but he added 2 very large awnings on each side of the boom. So now we have shade in the cockpits. Plus the front of the dodger can be opened, so some fresh air can, well, circulate, and it's very, very lovely. Moreover, we already had a small awning that we placed on the top of the front cabin hatch, so we can have as well fresh air and some shades there, so we are not very much protected. If you have a Centurion 42-45 on your own and wish to make such modifications, we can of course give you some measures, and we will be pleased to help you find out how to do them. Initially on Oriyo we had some issue with the companionway door. It was made in 3 different parts, and well, basically the rainwater just poured inside the companionway from all the edges. So we spent some time to think about a new system, and we came up with this one. The horizontal part of plexiglass is a little bit shorter than it used to be, but it's only made in 1 part, and the small one that was positioned a little bit higher at the back end is more tilted and allow us to close in just, well, 1 shot. So it is, well, waterproof, which is, well, just the best, And of course, if you have as well a Centurion with this kind of issue, because we know that we are not the only one with this kind of problem, we will be so pleased, of course, to give you tips and info like our drawings and some measures of how we did it. Back when we were in Port Saint-Louis in the boatwork, big boatwork periods, we made an episode where we presented what we've done, and of course you can see the link and the episode. In the cockpit we have 3 big lockers, and the one on the starboard side is really huge actually. It is that large because we don't have any back cabin, so we are right behind the back head. Inside, as it is very deep, we have, well, on the bottom we have the fuel tank. We have a lot of storage for tools and spare parts or product for boatworks, extra ropes, lines, and well, a lot of things to be maintaining the boats. Behind me we also have 2 sails from our head sails, some safety suits if we have any very wrong issue and have to leave the boat when we are at sea. Swim ladder behind me that is actually very useful to get from up and down here in this locker. And we have, well, underneath this area we have another small storage, and on this storage we are putting some stuff that we are not using very often, but we might need later on. On the port side locker we have, well, smaller place because underneath we have the back cabin, but still we can keep our diving, scuba diving gears, some extra fuel with the jerry cans, and some water, extra water as well. And well, for now we are keeping the second anchor, but basically her place is right in the bow. And finally we have one back locker, which is actually just one huge one but with 2 hatches. On the one side we are keeping our fenders and our mooring lines, and on the other one, just here, we have our electric autopilot. In the cockpit we have 8 winches. There are 2 on the roof under the Dodger for different lines from the mainsail and the Genoa furler line. We have these 2 big ones, they are for the Genoa sheets, and then 2, well, medium-sized ones. They are for the Solent sheets as well as the preventers boom. The smaller ones at the back of the cockpit are for the runners. Here on the port side we also have a small hatch here where we are keeping our propane bottles. We have 2 this size big and 1 a little bit smaller. So here we have our life raft. It is set up right there, so for me it would be easier if any case of an emergency we have to use it. I won't have to lift it up. It's already well positioned for me to just untie it and push it into the water. Here on the starboard side we have all the electronics screens so we can use it properly. We have the autopilot controller here, we have the anemometer, so we have the direction and the strength of the winds that come from the top of the mast, and here we have the log speedo and the depth information. Then we have the chart plotter here, the one that we used to have on Canca and still with us now, and here all the informations and controllers and starters for the engine. For the electricity in the cockpit we have 4 solar panels, 2 attached on both sides of the cockpit. They are 110 watts, and we have 2 others tied up on the bimini of 55 watts, so it's a total of 330 watts. We know it's not a lot for a cruising boat, but it's enough for us for now. We will do a specific episode about the electricity and the electronic later on, where we'll explain more about those. After leaving France, along the way we installed a wind vane. It is a used one that we found, and we are really happy to get this one. It's a used one but in perfect condition. It is tied up to the helm with these two lines, and they arrived in the centerpiece that we DIY made. We have imagined a system to tie up the wind vane to the stern of the boat that we can remove completely and storage the wind vane inside the boat, or that we can lift up and tie it up to the bimini, so if a marina wants to measure Oriyo, it will be shorter, well, the good size of Oriyo. We will make a full episode specific about the installation of the wind vane and all of its parts for you later on.
Thank you for watching this episode. We hope you enjoyed this visit of the outside layout. See you next time for another step getting us closer to a full-time sailing adventure. As always, you can subscribe, like, share this video and leave us a little comment. You can also meet us for more content and real-time news on Patreon. See you, take care, bye bye.